Can you scroll up?
Wanna be a sanctuary for Jesus. As you sit upon your throne.
Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. Make me pure and holy, tried and true, Lord. With all thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. Make me pure and holy, tried and true.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I want to say a good evening to everybody out there. My name is Lowell WOW, and I'm one of the elders at Generation Church. And I wanted to talk to y'all today about a wow moment that I had. Now, WOW is a series that we're going through, which W stands for wisdom, O stands for obedience, and the other W stands for worship. And so it's a series that we're going through in which we're just trying to encourage everyone to talk about those particular wow moments that you may have. Now, I've had several wow moments in my lifetime, but I wanted to talk to you about this particular one that I've had. And it all started when I was in church at one particular time. And anybody who knows me know I love to sing at church. Know I love to get up. I love to be to do my thing, basically. And so one day I was singing at church and clapping and just having a good time. And a lady that was standing next to me said, "You need to do something with that, or God is going to take that from you." Now, I didn't understand what she meant by that. I didn't understand, the ramifications of that or anything, but I just kept continuing to do my thing. Well, one day the military was having a physical for all the Gulf War vets. So I just went to go ahead and have this physical done, and it was found that I had a bone pressing up against my spine, which was causing me a lot of discomfort. And in some cases, the doctor said that if I didn't have this removed or have it taken care of or have it shaved down, then I could be paralyzed if I was hit in the right way or if someone bumped into me in the right way. So I decided to go ahead and have this surgery. Once I had this surgery, down in Augusta, Georgia, once I had this surgery, I knew something wasn't right coming out of it. I knew I just didn't feel right. Something in my spirit just didn't sit right with me. But at that time I didn't have a mirror or anything, so I couldn't tell. I knew that I was drooling on myself, but other than that, I couldn't tell if anything else was wrong. Well, and a few days later, my wife had came down to visit me at the hospital, and I knew something was wrong because the first time that she saw me, she passed out. And they actually had to take me out of the bed and put her in the bed because of the way that I looked. And so when I finally did get to see myself, I saw my tongue hanging out and it was hanging to the right. I had problems with my neck, and my shoulder on the right hand side wasn't acting right. And so I was a complete mess. And so, and not only that, but my voice was like 10 to 20 octaves higher. Some of you may know Michelle, the singer. Well, my voice was a lot higher than hers. And so I asked the doctor, what's wrong? What's the problem? What's happening? And he told me, he said that this is normal. The pressure will be coming off of your spine, or this is routine. It happens during the surgery, so don't worry about it. Well, I didn't worry about it. Now, in a few days, I was still having the same problem. So I went to that same doctor and said, what's going on? And he asked me, very simply, he said, do you want to go home? And I said, yes, I want to go home. And he said, well, if you want to go home, then you don't need to talk about this anymore. And so you guys know that are in the military, you know how the military is. So I didn't say anything more about it, and I was released to go home. So upon coming home, I have two children. Most of you guys know I have Tevin and I have Crystal. At that time, they were about 8 and 4, somewhere in that vicinity. And now again, my voice was extremely high. So they thought it was funny. I would tell them to clean their room, they'd think it was funny. I'd tell them to do this or tell them to do that, and they would think it was funny. They just laugh, look at daddy, listen at daddy, and they just thought it was funny. I didn't think it was so funny, on the other hand. I can remember driving through drive-thrus and hearing the person say yes ma'am or no ma'am, and it was getting very frustrating for me. I can remember being on the phone and hearing yes ma'am and no ma'am, and I began to get angry. I began to get upset about it. And so eventually I did go to a doctor who told me that Mr. Yarbrough, I got some bad news for you. And I was like, what else can be bad? What else can it be? And he put up the x-rays of my neck because I was having problems with it. And this civilian doctor told me, he said, if you look at this x-ray, you will see that they did not do anything to you. You have some scar tissue there, but that bone that was pressing against your spine is still right there. And so, couldn't do anything to the military, couldn't sue because it's the military. But eventually, I went back home and still hurting, still in a lot of pain, still my voice is still the same way, my tongue's still paralyzed, my neck and my shoulder on my right hand side still not working like it should. So one day I just got frustrated with it all, and I said, you know what, I'm going to drive to the woods and I'm going to pray. So I drove into some woods and I parked my car and I went off about 100 or so feet, 200 feet, and I sat down on the log and I prayed. And I asked God, why? You know, what is going on, God? I'm tired. I'm upset. I've been praying to you. I've been asking you to heal me, to take care of this, God. What is the problem? And so about that time, a deer had appeared. I opened up my eyes and this deer is standing right in front of me. Well, prayer time is over. So I got off the log and I got in my car and I drove home. I remember coming home and telling my wife that I needed her to take me to the emergency room because I was feeling a lot of pain, headaches, going crazy with headaches, and I just felt like simply I was going to die. And so I asked her to take me to the emergency room. She drove me to the emergency room, and when I got there, the doctors told me that there was nothing they could do for me. They said that I would have to go back to the facility where I received the surgery from. So now that was on a Saturday. Couldn't go to the hospital until that Monday. And so by the time Monday came, a great thing happened. You see, the pressure had relieved off of my spine. My headaches went away. My tongue wasn't so abnormal. My voice started coming back to me. Everything started working the way that it should have worked in the beginning. And it was because I cried out to God. It was because I petitioned God. It was because God saw the sincerity in my prayer, and He saw how hurt I was, and He saw His child was afflicted, and God reached down and He helped me. And I want to share this wow moment with you because I want you to know that no matter what you go through, God has heard you, and that God will respond to you. And my prayers to you is that you endure and that you remain faithful, and God will see you through it. Amen. Thank you very much.